Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban is set to meet former US President Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida on Thursday, continuing his high-profile diplomatic tour aimed at addressing the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. This meeting follows closely on the heels of Orban's visit to Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, a move that has sparked widespread concern and speculation about Orban's role in mediating between Russia and the West, even at the NATO summit. Orban's relationship with Trump has also been a topic of interest. The two leaders share a mutual respect and have met several times, with Trump hosting Orban at Mar-a-Lago in March. Also, the Hungarian Foreign Minister Péter Szijjártó said on Wednesday, as a NATO summit began, that a potential return of former US President Donald Trump as a chance for peace in Ukraine. Meanwhile, in a leaked letter addressed to European Council President Charles Michel, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban expressed support for Russia, emphasizing that time is not on the side of Ukraine, but on the side of the Russian forces. He wrote that Moscow was ready to consider any ceasefire proposal that does not serve the hidden relocation and reorganization of Ukrainian forces. Orban also mentioned the possibility of achieving a ceasefire and initiating peace talks, but cautioned that, in the next 2 months, we will see more dramatic losses and military developments on the front lines than ever before, if the war doesn't come to a halt. Orban's visit to Moscow has been strictly criticized by the European Union. Nabila Masrali, spokesperson for the European Commission, said the rotating presidency, the one which Hungary holds, has no role in foreign policy of the group.
The rotating presidency has no role in the external representation of the EU, and that the Prime Minister Orban has received no mandate, actually, to visit Moscow. And any solution to Russia's aggression against Ukraine has to be based on Ukraine's independence, territorial integrity and sovereignty as protected by the UN Charter. So the European position on Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine is very clear, as reflected in the latest European conclusions, approved by 27 EU member states, including Hungary. And Russia must immediately, of course, and unconditionally withdraw all forces and military equipment from the entire territory of Ukraine and comply with international law.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz also said that the visits by Viktor Orban does not represent the bloc, but only it states the individual stance of Hungary.
The European Council is represented in foreign policy by the Council by Mr. Michel and soon by Mr. Costa. These are the rules we have with each other, and that is why the Hungarian presidency of the Council is not the reason for this visit, but the activity as Hungarian Prime Minister.
Ironically, Orban has himself said that he doesn't represent the bloc's voice, a contrast to the shift in his efforts after Hungary assumed EU presidency.
It is important that we Hungarians remind ourselves that the presidency of the European Union, which in Brussels is called the rotating presidency because the mandate is held for half a year, does not entitle us to negotiate on behalf of anyone. So even though what I'm doing seems like a negotiation format because we sit behind a table and discuss issues, we don't negotiate. Therefore, I do not need a mandate because I do not represent anything. The only thing I do is go to those places where there is a war or the threat of war that has negative consequences for Europe and Hungary as well. And I clarify the facts. I ask questions.
Orban's efforts to present himself as the voice of the West to Russia and a negotiator between warring parties are being rejected by his colleagues. His attempts to mediate have been met with skepticism and criticism, highlighting the complex and contentious nature of international diplomacy surrounding the Ukraine conflict.